Hello. My name is Taylor. If you don't know me, I'm intending this video to be for my grad friends at Loyola Marymount University in the film program. And I think maybe some of my mom's friends or clients at Studio 127 and some of my friends will see it as well. So thank you for watching. I'm usually behind the camera. I'm not very comfortable being in front of the camera. But I have a lot of things to share with you. I have a long story. So if you're in for it, please come along for the ride. So basically, a lot of things have happened in my life. I know right now in 2020, a lot of crappy, terrible things have happened for a lot of people, and my heart goes out to everyone. And I actually came out to Colorado so that I could take care of my mental health when the quarantine first happened. So I've been with my family since March. I usually live in Los Angeles. I'm usually just mainly at school and on sets, and I've gotten to live my dream the last couple years at LMU, and now basically at the end of quarantine I started getting a lot of migraines. It was already a stressful semester, and then I think it was the last week of finals where I started really paying attention to my body again. And I noticed, I have gotten a lot of migraines this month. I usually only get them once every 6 months, once in a while, and I got about 3 or 4 at once. And I guess I didn't tell you all that I'm going to tell you about my personal health crisis that I've been going through. I just want to give you kind of a timeline just so you guys understand. But basically, my family advised me to go to my doctor, and after I went to an emergency eye doctor's appointment, I was experiencing, I guess other people with migraines get these like weird flashes in their eye. And so I just called my eye doctor because I've had other issues with my eyes before. And I said, hey, this is what's happening. So they gave me an emergency eye doctor appointment, and everyone was like, it's just still a migraine. Don't worry about it. It's probably still that. And then turns out at the end of the appointment, they were saying that I have optic neuritis again. So going back, when I was 13, I was an 8th grader, and I did something and I got a pinched nerve. I was cheerleading and doing stunts and stuff, and made it worse, and basically was out of school for a month because after I got the pinched nerve, I got more sick with the flu or a cold or something. And then my mom noticed that I had Bell's palsy in my face, which, if you don't know what Bell's palsy is, it's a paralysis of your face, where your face just doesn't move after a while. So I don't know what I was doing, but it was harder for my face to move. And then eventually, I saw my doctor, my pediatrician back then, and she was watching me and making sure I wasn't getting worse. But then all of a sudden I was getting better, and I I was out of school for about a month and I was in a lot of pain. I mean, I was getting like 10 hours of sleep a week. It was a really terrible time, but then I ended up getting better and I was feeling better, and I was able to spend spring break with my family being more normal than usual. And when I went back to school, I actually had a doctor's appointment, just a checkup for the following school year, and she said that I mean, I could tell I couldn't see the big E on the screen during the eye test. And shout out to Alex Alvarado. He helped me in my first year of grad school make a short about my experience. So I'll post that. It's on my Vimeo account. I don't really promote myself enough. Anyway, I ended up going to the children's hospital, staying there for a few days, and they did a bunch of tests on me, and they just basically tested me for the next, up until I was 21, for MS, muscular sclerosis, or multiple sclerosis. I'm actually not sure which one is like the correct term, but yeah, MS is what I was tested for. And while I was in the hospital back when I was 13, I was feeling better finally. So I really didn't think anything was wrong with me. I mean, I was just happy I wasn't in pain anymore. And this was just this silent thing. And it was happening in my left eye. My left eye is where I couldn't see the E. And so as time went on, I started noticing, I didn't have great depth perception, so I couldn't really catch a ball as well as I used to, or other sports, or whatever else. It was just like even walking down the stairs was a little strange. Putting on eyeliner on this side was the worst. Like, I'm so jealous of every girl that can do cat eyes, because I never could do cat eyes on myself. So more power to you. And yeah, I kind of just over the years have gotten used to not being able to see through my center vision on my left eye. And I've been able to drive, I've been able to do other things. I just overcompensate because of my lack of vision in my left eye. So come over back to after quarantine, or in the middle of quarantine, and I had to go see my eye doctor. And once he saw the optic neuritis in this eye, in my right eye, my good eye, the eye that I've always had to protect, he told me I had to go to the ER because I don't have a primary doctor here. So in order to get the best care, I'd have to go through that route. And basically they took me into the ER, admitted me into the hospital, and I got IV steroids, which is the same thing that I got when I was a 13-year-old girl. They did IV steroids because it stops the whatever's happening, and it just lets people, or the doctors or medical people, have time to figure it out. That's basically how I've always perceived it being. But I stayed there, and they did 3 MRIs. So in my past, I've gotten CAT scans and MRIs when I was younger, and they've always come out negative, except for the optic neuritis. And this time they did it on my eyes, my brain, and my chest and neck. And they ended up finding optic neuritis on my eyes, which was already confirmed. And then they found inflammation on my spine. So optic neuritis is basically inflammation of my nerves in my eyes. And now they saw that this was the first time I ever heard that I had inflammation in my spine. And so they were kind of confused because there weren't specialists of why that was happening. So they gave me some steroids to take for the next 2 weeks while I was home. And I did that. And they were hoping that it would make my eyes better, but they didn't. And then I told them it's not working. And they said, okay, you're going to have to find a neurologist. And that's going to be hard to find somebody who's specializing in optic nerves. And that was frustrating for me because I had always seen somebody who was specializing in optic nerves when I was younger. So I was just like, why the hell can I just call my old doctor just because I got older, you know? I feel like this whole year has been all about how old I am because of other reasons. But anyways, so I ended up contacting my primary that they set me up with, and he wanted me to see the my eye doctor again. And my eye doctor was like, I can't help you anymore. You have to see a neurologist. So he helps me figure out a plan where he just told me, go and find another ER up north in Colorado Springs. And then they'll be linked up, since they're a specific hospital that's linked up with Denver already. They'll be obligated to get you better doctors. So, more specialized doctors. And so that's what my mom and I did. Went up, got more IV steroids in the hospital. And then, sure enough, the plan worked. And we were able to get 2 doctors on my schedule the next week, which is crazy. Really awesome. 2 specialized doctors. One was a neuro-ophthalmologist on Monday in Denver, and the other one was in Springs and was a neurologist specializing in optic nerves. So I ended up not even needing the second doctor in Springs, because once I went to the Dr. Bennett in Denver, I got a lot of answers. So my mom and I stayed up in Denver the night before, because Denver's a couple hours away. And it was a really nice time with me and my mom. We just relaxed, and it's just been, a confusing and weird time for us. Because this whole time, especially when I got back on the steroids, or when as I was on the steroids and it progressed, my eyes just, I can't even really read or write. And I do that for a living, technically, an unpaid intern living. But I'm a film student, so it would be really nice to use my eyes. And I wish this was never happening. But my eyes go in and out. So sometimes I can see some things, and then other times I can see nothing. So it's really strange. And so then my mom and I went to an early morning appointment with Dr. Bennett, and we saw his fellow first. And I had eaten like a granola bar before this appointment, mind you. Okay, that comes in later. So the fellow looked at my charts from when I was a kid to now, and she was like, I think I know what's happening. And I was all, sure you do. It's been a long time. It's been half my life, and this has come back to me. And So then she said that she needed to consult Dr. Bennett. He came in, he told us his credentials. He was a super smart guy. He told us he's one in 7 doctors who's working on this autoimmune disorder called Mogg. I don't know what it stands for because for him, it took him a long time to say it, not because he couldn't say it, but just because there's so many syllables involved. But basically, this autoimmune disease, is new. It's only been around for about a year and a half, and he thinks that a lot of people who have been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis have actually been misdiagnosed with it, with MS. And it's actually this Mogg thing. And the way Mogg works, it's a nasty thing. It will, these antibodies will attack the person's optic nerves, and they attack the proteins, and they make the thickness in your nerves thicker, and then it won't let in light. So the inflammation of your eyes. That's like the technical part of how the inflammation is happening. The not so technical part. And so they said that, we're not sure if you have this autoimmune disorder or disease, whatever, but if it's not this, it's an even rarer disease. And either way, you're going to have to get this treatment. That's the only way you can, fight this. And so I was all, sure, let's do it. You're telling me there's a way? Let's do it. So that same day, got admitted into the hospital at UC Health in Denver. And right away, they got me into this procedure where I got this Mahurker, where they put me into this, like, I guess it's the room that they do surgeries or something. And because it was like a tiny little procedure that they put this Mahurker in. That's like the guy's name that it's named after. And basically, they had put a numbing needle into me, and then they put this tent, which made me really realize how serious everything was when I was under this blue tent holding the nurse's hand. They stuck a needle down above my lung, or not a needle, it was like an IV catheter, so that then they could have these like 3 prongs of I don't know, the IV tubes, where one could give me medicine, one could take my blood, and one could give me blood. And that was the whole thing, because the treatment, it was a plasma treatment, and I had to go down to dialysis, and they had to pull out all my blood because the antibodies in my blood are what's hurting me. And so they had to pull it all out and then and give it back in. But they can't do it all at once or else you freaking die. So they give you take out a pop can size of blood at a time and bring it back in. So right after the procedure, they were all, good news, Taylor, you can go in right away for your first treatment. And I was all, let's do it. Let's get this done. And I still hadn't eaten. So I asked the nurse for ice chips. And so he gave me some ice chips. And he said, sometimes it doesn't like it when you eat anything, but ice chips will be okay. So this was in the middle or later in the afternoon, and I could see my blood going in and out, and I could feel it on my arms. Like it was just the tubes were laying there, and I could feel how warm it was, and it was super strange. And I was fascinated by it for a while, and then I started eating the ice chips, and every time I ate it, it would stop my blood, and then every time I swallowed, it would just shoot it out. And so I ate the whole cup of ice chips that he gave me because I was so freaking hungry, and uh, the it did it a lot of times. Every time I freaking chewed and swallowed, it was just like just stopping my blood, and I think it kind of made me queasy. And so every treatment can be about 1 to 3 hours, and so I was about an hour and a half in, and then all of a sudden I just got super cold and sweaty. I had cold sweats, which are I've gotten when I have a flu or something, but this time it was just like a constant feeling. And so I told him I was just really uncomfortable. And then he was like, okay, we're going to just stop it early today. It should be fine. Then I just got nauseous. And my worst fear was always to throw up in front of somebody and throw up like where somebody has to clean it up. But he didn't have to clean it up, okay? But he gave me one of those puke bags, and I can't believe I'm telling people this, but I threw up from the dialysis room all the way up to when they took me back to my room, and my mom was like, "You poor baby," and it felt like my mom and I were together for like 10 seconds because I did not stop feeling like that until 4 a.m. the next day. I just kept on throwing up nothing, and my mom had to leave because the visiting hours were over, and I was just a little baby, and it was embarrassing. And nurses, thank God for them, because honestly, after the procedure, the Maherker procedure, I told them, thank you for doing all of your studies and taking your job seriously, because I could never do this job. Let's face it, all us filmmakers can never do the jobs that we want, like we film people doing. We'd rather be just like watching and telling them, do this way instead. But anyway, I'm very grateful for the medical staff I've had this entire time, especially at Parkview. Thank you. You all were great, and all the way through to Denver and throughout this whole time. You've been wonderful. So anyway, the next day they didn't make me do it because I was just so sick and weak. And so they figured out, okay, well, let's just like get her strength back up. And then they got me to eat before the treatment and take this migraine medicine. Oh yeah, I forgot. I had an intense migraine, like majority of this time, that just would not release. And so they gave me this like crazy thing where I just pass out. And it was called a migraine cocktail. So I had countless of those while I was in the hospital. I couldn't count because I'd just be passed out. And so they said that I could have taken like a day off each treatment if I needed to, but I was determined, no, I'm gonna get through this. So I ended up being able to do all 4 other treatments back to back, and it got better, and it really helped that I ate and that I had the migraine medicine. And so I got out of the hospital that next Saturday. It was just a whirlwind, and my mom, thank God, was able to be there with me the whole time. She couldn't stay the night, but she was able to come and see me every day. And so basically my doctors said that I can't drive because I can't see very well. And I saw like a whole team of neurologists, so I don't know which doctor said what, but basically they said that they're hopeful and they're confident that my eyesight can get as good as it used to be. And my mom's hoping and praying that it can get better than it used to be. Um, I'm 3 weeks out of the doctor's now, from that point, and every day it changes. Some days I'm both eyes, well, not the whole day, but in and out throughout the day, I just can't see anything. And then other times, it's just like floating. It feels like floaters and like weird shifts. And some days, like one day I was able to see like this side over, and then this side over was all dark. And then this eye's just always doing its own thing because it was the eye that was damaged before. But yeah, I made another video before this one that didn't make a lot of sense. I was still really adjusting to my medications, and yeah, I'm not gonna post that one because I didn't know how to talk and made too long of a video. Um, um, I I'm on medications that are suppressing my immune system. It's kind of taking it away, and then it's gonna revamp it, I guess. And that's gonna be like over the course of a month, and then I'll be on the medications for 2 years. Um, and it's the same kind of medication they give to people who are on an organ transplant. So it's pretty intense stuff. And my doctor said that if I wasn't told it's negative after 4 days, which it's been long over 4 days, but I still haven't been officially diagnosed. But he told me after 4 days it's a positive. Like they're just doing whatever freaking test they need to do to make sure it's positive for Mogg. And so I am adjusting. It's hard not driving. I love my car so much. I like my independence, but honestly, I've never really loved to drive anyway. So, having people take me places isn't too difficult for me. And plus, like, we're still in quarantine, so where am I gonna go? Like, I'm not even really supposed to go to the grocery store anymore. So, I like going to places outside. Um, but other than that, the real adjustments come to my productivity and my work, and just I love my work. I love what I do. I love what I've studied, and I've been looking forward to doing more of it. And a lot of people get to do that in quarantine. I get it if people need to stop and it's not all about productivity right now. But I just can't be productive at some points. And I see all my notes, or I see the blurriness of my notes that I write all over my walls and my planner and stuff. And it angers me that I can't do more. But I'm still doing it. And I'm thankful that my family is helping me. It's just I'm at a lot slower of a pace than I've ever been. Like, I thought I was really slow before all of this. I thought like, oh yeah, like I just need to work harder, la la la. And then now I'm just like, oh my god, I thought I was low energy. No, this is low energy where I have to take a nap halfway through the day, and I'm just groggy from my medications, and then getting through 3 emails is a success, or reading through one of my breakdowns is a success. It just it makes me I'm learning to be more patient, and yet sometimes I just need to go for a long run or something, even though I can't do rigorous exercise. Like, I don't know. But some people, I've met, my mom met somebody who has Mogg actually, or knows somebody who has Mogg, and he had to learn how to walk. So, it's a rare disease, but it's like thousands or tens of thousands of people. And it's just crazy. My mom just met somebody just like this last week. And I know it does. That's something that, because my spine is affected. Um, I'm grateful that I can walk. It feels like a sick joke that I can't see. And I want to be a filmmaker. And if I have to only be a writer, okay, I know I can be a writer and do that. But I love being a director. I love working with actors, and I just love the whole process of being on set. It's so much fun to me. Like, that's when I feel my best self. And I'm still working on my thesis. And I'm sad because of this autoimmune system. My doctor said it was probably best if I stay in Colorado for the next semester. So, or autoimmune disease, immune system, whatever I said. So yeah, I get really confused on this medication. But I still want to do my best, and I still am very passionate about the things that I do, and I want to help all my friends and my classmates with their projects. I have to be a little slower at things, and I'm very grateful for all the people who have sent me flowers in the hospital, all my family who've taken care of me and accommodated me, and for my roommates for packing up my stuff in LA. I plan on still being there in January, but I was hoping I would be there this summer after quarantine. So a lot of things just had to shift, and I'm doing my mindfulness stuff, and I hope you all are too, because it's a lot for everyone. And thanks for everyone who have reached out so far. If you have questions, let me know. I just really want to make this last year of school as best as it can be. And I am now planning on shooting in Colorado. So if you have any advice or whatever, let me know. And yeah, that's my story. My eyes are okay right now. I guess they still are going to be changing, and I have a doctor's appointment in just like next week or on the 6th. So whenever that is, that's like in a week and a half, I guess. And then I'll be seeing doctors throughout this whole time. I have to go to the doctors once a week anyways for some stuff. And in LA, they do have really great resources. So that's something that my doctors are excited about here, that they know that there's great resources there, so that when I do move back, because I am going to be working in the industry still, whether or not my eyes change much or not. They're excited to figure this out with me now, and then pass on the torch to some really good doctors there. So I hope you all are working hard on your sets and your scripts, and I hope you know that we can do this. We're going to figure it out, and they're going to be looking at our stuff, as hopefully this. Oh, like, look at those videos. They were the quarantine videos, or they were the Corona freaking 19 videos, or whatever, COVID-19 videos. But they can't tell because we did such a fucking good job. Sorry. Mom. My mom's gonna see this. Dang it. Um, I didn't mean to cuss, Mom. Anyway, I love you all. I'm thinking of you, and I'm sending my best so that somehow we can be working on all this together.